to Your Wealthy Self with me, Regina Martinelli. Here we talk about money and a whole lot more. Let me ask you, what if your biggest questions could transform into incredible breakthroughs for you? What if understanding yourself was the key to everything that you've ever wanted? So I'm here to support you in having insights that drop in from out of the blue, like unexpected and powerful. To answer the question, what needs to be healed, reckoned with, or tended to for me to manifest more of what's most important to me? If you find yourself constantly seeking answers, even drowning in your own overthinking of things or trapped in that kind of mental fog, and you really are craving some clarity and certainty, this is your show. Your Wealthy Self isn't just about money. As I said, it's about a whole lot more. In this show, we're here to help you expand your capacity to attract abundant success and to have that inner wealth and manifest what most matters to you both inside and out, including outer wealth. We'll dive into strategy, ideas, processes, and big picture thinking to help you conceptualize, gain certainty, and move forward with confidence. So are you ready to clear the brain fog, to find understanding, to calm your mind, and discover insights you never thought possible? We're in the right place. Here, your questions can become your greatest power in creating your wealthy self. So let's get started. Today, we are going to talk about completion, and how to get comfortable with people, situations, experiences that are ending in your life, whether it's your choice or not. We'll work together to get more comfortable with these completions that are happening in your life. And some of these are things you want to complete because you're tired of and you want to let go of, and yet can't seem to end it, or something that is trying to complete for you and you're not ready to let it go. If you're having any of those experiences, then this episode is for you. And I'd just recommend that you stay to the end, because I have some questions that you can ask yourself that I'll be asking you that will help you have insights into what you are struggling to complete. And these can be ahas of clarity that dispel the doubts, that make sense of past mistakes and future worries around letting go or completing something. Including, they're going to spark some answers to why certain things happened, or understanding the patterns so you know what to be mindful of in the future. So let's dig in. So I don't know if you've heard this, but in the year 2025 is a completion year astrologically for the whole planet. And I know it's a big completion year for myself. I've already had a couple of very big completions, and I was told somewhere along the way, this is the last year of a 36-year cycle of struggle in my life. I had to giggle. Who comes in to this world and this incarnation to have 36 years of struggle starting when you're a child? Like, so it feels like my entire life. But it's all good. It's all good. It's just created resilience. There are going to be many things that are not going to look the same once this year is over. Because again, 2025 is an astrological, a planetary completion year. I don't know a lot about that, but this is what I keep hearing. And that can be a really good thing. Completion can be a really good thing. I always say change is good. Sure, there's uncertainty that may come up as we wait for the evolution to happen, but it doesn't have to be scary, upsetting, or push your nervous system into anxiety. So let's start with, what are you wanting to complete? What are you wanting to end, to let go of, but are having a hard time taking the actions or having the conversation? Or maybe what is trying to end in your life, finish and complete, that you are resisting from having that completion happen? Maybe something you're not wanting to end for whatever reason. So when you're thinking about this completion that needs to happen, whether you want it to or not, what comes up for you? Excuse me. Is there fear, loss? For some, it may be like a break in belonging, or what I would say a lack of connection when we complete with someone, like family or our status or friendships. Do you feel like a lack of safety when you complete something that isn't your choice, whether it's a breakup, a loss of a job, a financial situation? And then other times, when it is our choice to complete, we can still feel resistance in doing it. And there's that nagging inside that's like, oh, I don't really want to, but I know it's the right thing for me. But we're afraid. We're afraid to let go. What is the experience that comes up for you? Is it fear and anxiety? Do you feel paralyzed, like frozen on the inside when you're needing to complete something or something's needed to complete in your life? Does it feel like it's not your choice? Do you need permission to complete something? Are you worried about other people, how they'll react or how it will affect them? These are such great questions to ask to kind of get deeper into what is going on in your system. Because sometimes we just operate on the top emotion of it. And when we do that, we end up resisting it. We end up procrastinating. We end up denying and moving on and trying to hold on with all of our might, which isn't always the best thing for us. And sometimes the layer of emotion that's on top is way bigger than what's actually going on underneath. And analytically, we can see it. But when we start to allow ourselves to tap into it emotionally, it can dissipate and we can have a lot more clarity. So I'm going to ask you, what is the flavor of the emotion that goes with this experience that you're having around completion? What is it? Again, dread, upset, fear, overwhelm, anxiety. Is it scary? Is it sad? What is it? Is it a sense of, I can't survive without this? What is that flavor of emotion for you? It's important to sit with it and really identify what is the experience when you think about completing this thing. Where in your body does it reside? Like, where does that emotion show up? What is the emotion of it? And if it's scary, overwhelming, maybe there may be anxiety or fear or dread, whatever it is, ask yourself, how so? Like, how so is it scary? Things can be scary because it's unknown. Things can be scary because it feels overwhelming. Things can feel scary because it feels like you're going to be annihilated. What is the fear? Or there's fear of loss, or if it's overwhelming, how so? I mean, what would happen if you allowed this feeling to overtake you? What would happen if the completion was scary as it feels? What would the result be? If you feel into this and allow yourself to say it out loud, say it out loud, when we bring it to our throats, it helps the energy move and the charge of the experience starts to diminish. It starts to drop. Now, as this energy, this resistance, what do you want me to know about this? Why am I resisting this completion? What felt sense do you get from that answer? You may have to rewatch this episode and pause it here because there's a lot of questions that I'm going through. And one thing I would also check in with when you had that experience of what the emotion is, and then how so is it that emotion? Because there's so many different flavors of fear, of anxiety, of upset, of loss. There's so many different flavors of it and nuances. When you have that, sit with it. Get into that feeling and ask yourself, where in your younger years, in your childhood, did you have this same or similar experience? Where it was the same flavor? No matter what your experience is, these are all valid and worthy experiences and concerns to have when you're completing something. But what is really useful is to dig in to see what's really behind it, what's behind our initial reaction, our initial resistance of that completion. So let's also jump into this other piece. So you've gotten some answers about the emotion. Put those on hold because we're going to check out those again in a minute. But I'm going to let those kind of sit and settle into your system, because if we go too fast, too soon, your reptilian brain, it's a whole other piece on another episode, might just kick it out. And I want this to sit with your system. So your system, your body, your emotional, physical, psychological systems can actually sit with this inquiry. Because if they realize that they can survive this, your reptilian brain, then we can go deeper. So we're going to go into another same topic, but we're going to take a little break from feeling of the emotions. Because I want to ask you, what is completion? What is it really? What does it mean to complete something fully and let it go? Well, I looked up the definition, and it's defined by to mark the end, to make whole or perfect, to bring an end, especially into a perfect state. I cannot tell you how much I loved reading that in the dictionary. It sounds so much more empowering, so much more inspiring than it's just over. It's done. I'm done with that. It just feels like an empowerment to leave something in a complete whole state when you're done, whether it's done with you or you're done with it. What if this completion is creating a perfect state and you just can't see it yet? What if this completion is the perfect ending to creating the beginning of something else you're really wanting? You know, that thing that nags at you to do, that leaving of a job or letting go of a friendship or cleaning out a closet? Maybe that thing is asking you to complete isn't about what you're afraid you will lose. But what if it's really about completing a time in your life that no longer serves you? Instead of being unafraid of what we're losing, what if we hold it like, oh, I'm allowing this to complete in a perfect state, where we can allow yourself to stand there for a minute. Set your emotions, your concerns about it to the side. I literally take my hands and like move that emotion over and like, okay, I'm going to put it there in this lovely little basket and I'll get back to it in a minute. Just moving it to the side, and you can have it back whenever you're ready. But what does it feel like when you actually take those initial emotions, set them over, and just go, what's the experience like to stand in what this thing no longer serves? To stand in, oh, this no longer serves me. And it's in perfect divine timing for it to complete now. Have you ever done that? I just sat there with it. Oh, what if this no longer serves me? And what if this is the perfect divine timing for this to complete? Right? Have you ever had things start to look like they were not going well, and then all of a sudden they worked out better than you imagined? If you think about it, you can find an experience like that in your life. Who's to say this next completion isn't going to work out like that one unknowingly did? Yes, this too can be like that experience. You just have to allow it to unfold for you. You just have to trust that this is completion happening in its perfect state, and we are making it about us. We are making it about the worry of the loss of status, money, who we are as a person, how we'll be seen, what it means to us, the comfort of staying in the same thing and not changing. When it's just completing, which is allowing for something new to show up, something we can help orchestrate, create, and author. Let's look at this trajectory a bit farther out. What is on the other side of completing something? Yes, it's an ending. Completion has fallout. Its fallout is new beginnings. There's always something that takes shape or form from something else completing. When something ends and goes away, it creates a void. In this void where anything is possible before there was that thing. The job, the relationship, the clutter, whatever it is for you. That thing was taking up space, and it had a form that it was. And when that form is gone, then anything can fill that new space. I just cleaned out a cupboard I rarely use because it's stuffed with dishes, random items I know I will need someday, and odd trinkets. I finally cleared it all out. Now there's open space, and I love seeing that open space on that shelf. I don't know what will go there, but something will eventually. Yet, having come through the process of letting the other stuff I so desperately thought I needed to keep, letting that go, I won't have to experience that desperation for clutter again. I can allow what needs to show up to show up. It won't be something out of scarcity belief that I will need to keep it for someday. I'm only putting in that cupboard what I love and adore to have in my life that serves me. That may sound simple to you, and I know there's been books about this, there's been shows about this, all of that good stuff. Yet when I apply that mindset to the rest of my kitchen, oh my goodness, in my home life, it really starts to open up something for myself. I can let relationships go that I don't adore and absolutely love being connected to those people. I can let clients go that are not a fit for me, that are more of a struggle than a joy. I can allow for space to accumulate in my orbit. So let me ask you, what does completion open up for you? Does it feel like a death and rebirth? Does it feel scary not to have that bumper of struggle, of resistance? Sometimes we want to let go because we don't know who we are going to be on the other side of completion. And who do you get to be on the other side when you allow for completion? If you don't resist and you actually trust that it will unfold and reform in a beautifully supportive way, who are you from this perspective? And who do you want to be in the face of completion? Do you want to resist, trying to know the outcome, account for all the possible outcomes, and controlling how it unfolds? Is a lot to manage. It's a lot to keep your attention on. And it's also a form of resistance, that amount of control. My question for you is this. If your experience of having to manage every aspect of completion or to control it, what would happen if you were out of control or your world was out of control? What does that feel like? Is it overwhelming? Does it feel, again, with those emotions, set them aside and say, what is underneath that? And what was the youngest you that first had this experience? What was happening for that younger you? What was going on in her home, in her environment, with the people around her? What was she not getting that she needed? So much of our inability to allow things to change, form, shape, and speed, and even directions comes from survival strategies from when we were very little. Our systems had to develop ways for us to survive the instability, the unpredictability, or the lack of safety we felt as children. And these strategies are still in full throttle running within us today. They were installed for very good reasons, and they helped us make sense of some experiences we were not mature enough to comprehend fully. So we have positive intentions around them to keep us safe, loved, and give us a sense of belonging and connection. And to do that, these patterns have to continually resist change, completions in our lives. So they may not be as useful as they once were now that we can take care of our own safety. We can lock our front door. We can drive away in our car. We can say no with our own authority. So when these old patterns are still running, then they can cause more resistance, struggle, and complications in our lives for things that we actually want. So I just ask you to check in with your resistance to see first, is this yours? Or did this start with someone else? Is this resistance useful for what you are creating in your life now? Is it an appropriate amount of resistance that you have towards this thing, considering you're a grown adult? I'd be curious what answers you got. If you'd like to share, you can email me at yourwealthyself@e360tv.com. Personally, I've been leaning into completion myself this year in 2025. I've not been putting much effort into keeping things that are no longer in alignment. I've recently had to complete with a group that I truly adored, and it was just no longer a fit for me. My previous self would have loved to find a way to work through it by shape-shifting and contorting myself into something that isn't me. But when I sat with the definition of making it whole in a perfect state, I realized if I don't fit there as I am now, then the group is out of alignment. So my leaving it allows for that group to be whole in a perfect state of all like kind. It allows me to find where I am in an alignment, where my perfect whole fit is. This is not to say there's anything wrong with that group. No, it's to say that it was time for me to leave and leave them in a more perfect state of their focus, desires, and frequencies. I trust it's going to work out for both sides with ease and with joy, of course. What I want to highlight is that I leaned into it. I could see it coming. I could see my wanting to resist it. I didn't want to go. I felt if I left, I'd lose connection. There'd be sadness and maybe a loss of a friend or two. I had that part of me that wanted to work it out and keep it going. Yet I also didn't want to struggle against what I also knew was true for me. And for 2025 as a completion year, I'm leaning into the ending of things. I'm not resisting. So I'm allowing for what needs to fall away to gracefully do it with gratitude. I want to honor what is being presented and allow for what is next to show up. And it's still unfolding, and the open space is there to call in what's next. And in this allowing, you can experience this magical liminal space where you are at the completion of one thing, leaving it whole and complete, and about to embark on the next unfolding that needs your engagement. It's such a magical space because you get to create what you are stepping into and put your attention on what and how you want to feel when you step into that new beginning. And what I've noticed since leaving that group, since I was willing to lean into leaving this lovely space, I've noticed that my other groups have gotten more solid, more connected, and there's a deeper resonance there. I'm aligning more with my authentic yes, instead of staying with the ease of not changing. You know, it's easier not to change something. It's how we can be charged on a credit card for subscription for months that we never use. We don't want to reach out and cancel. Or we stay at a job longer because we don't want to go through the hassle of finding another one. The inertia of staying in motion of what we are already doing is easier than us changing course. We know this because changing course takes effort. We have to stop or redirect that momentum. And I'll say from a sedimentary place, it's so much easier to stay with where I'm already at and continue to get the same results, same experiences, and same engagements I've always gotten. Yet when I move, shift, or even take the slightest action towards something different, that is when more alignment of who I actually am and new energy comes, new creativity, and new heartfeltness shows up. It's like a new us, a rebirth of energy that we've known we've had. Sure, it's exhilarating because it's a bit unknown and a little scary, and that's all normal. But do you trust yourself to know how to pivot, learn, and ask for help during this new journey? Of course you do. Then you will be just fine to lean into completion and change it brings. You will be delightfully surprised. I know I have been. I have more internal bandwidth and space that allows for what's showing up to show up. I'm not running these internal anxieties of trying to resist that the time has come for it to end or contort myself to stay. Whether it's leaning into decluttering a pile of old magazines you're never going to read, allow yourself the truth that you are never going to read them. If you want to read a magazine, there'll be others waiting for you. What is the truth about that clutter pile? Why don't you really want to sort it? Sit with that. Ask yourself, what is it? What does it represent to me? And listen to the answer. Sometimes it's the feeling of what that clutter pile represents that stops us. It's the energy that has been projected on it. And when you ask yourself these questions, you feel the energy that's been projected starts to dissipate. And then you can sort it. You can let it go. This is also true of friendships, relationships, career opportunities, connections, all of that. Credit card statements. Another piece I need to address is the turbulence of completion. Sometimes as patterns complete, the pattern tries to hold on a bit longer and it seems a little bit more fierce or a little bit stronger. It's trying to make its last play for holding on in a very strong way. You know, we've had this before where we start a workout routine and then after some time we're doing great and then we hit that one day and we're like, oh, this is really, really hard. It's like that old pattern's trying to pull us back again. But when we get through it and we're like, no, I'm standing in the new place, not the old place, then we're stronger for it. And completion has its own turbulence as well, depending on how much we resist it, how tightly we hold on, and what subconscious patterns we have running around it. You might experience buyer's remorse, the wanting to reunite with someone, or dread of not knowing what to do next. This and many others are all very normal, but this too shall pass. You will get to the other side of completion. I always love knowing who I am on the other side. I'm always pulled forward through this liminal space of how's it going to complete? How's it going to go? How am I going to get through this? Where's my resilience? Who do I get to be on the other side? And that person makes me excited. So who do you get to be on the other side of things that are completing? Whether it's in your control or not, who do you want to be on the other side of that? Like really sitting with that for a moment, stepping out of the fear and stepping into your future self. Who do you get to be over there? And is it someone you want to be? Someone who allowed for what is no longer serving her to fall away and complete? giving yourself more space internally and externally. Is that someone worth being? Of course it is. And that version of you is more resilient, and she's got more wisdom and depth to offer and share. And there's more availability within herself. And completion can be big. We've just finished the first 100 days or so of this year. So completions are already happening. Completions about our beliefs about ourselves, about the lack of not being good enough, about not being worthy enough, all of those, completing all of that with procrastination. There is so much. But when you complete something and you don't struggle against it, then there's a lot more energy available to us, focus and creativity. There's no more sabotaging your desire to make change or to listen to what our tender hearts are asking for. We actually have more of ourselves available to us. I'd recommend rewatching this episode and going through those questions more slowly and even pausing it to help you get to what's behind the resistance, the hesitation of completing something, so that you can allow to what's not serving you anymore to go, and allowing more of what you want into your life. Because when that stuck energy moves, there are so much more possibilities available. And when we have more possibilities, when we can see that we feel more empowered, safe, and at choice in our lives, then we feel more aligned with who we really are. I'd love to hear how this was for you. Please send comments to yourwealthyself at e360tvlive.com. Thank you for watching today. If you got anything out of today's show, please share it. I love and adore you. You are worthy, beautiful, and precious, just as you are. I look forward to seeing you next time.